Judith Taylor, and she is on team collaboration level 2, speech 1, and she will be evaluated by Shamiso Grusha. Sorry, forgive me. Please could you introduce Judith's project?
Good evening once again, and welcome, Judith. Your speech is for the member to learn about different leadership styles and identify his or her primary style. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share the impact of his or her style on others. Your speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Good luck, Judith.
Judith Taylor, How We Change. How We Change, Judith Taylor.
I've done many leadership tests. What are leadership styles? They're the results of doing a questionnaire, in this case, looking at the following. The particular list that I was given included bureaucratic, authoritative, innovative, right the way down to altruistic. I did the tests and found out something very, very interesting. I have commenced a journey which is totally different. I scored high on democracy, motivation, and success. I felt very good about that. And they came out exactly the same count for each of the three. It's the first time I've had a tie. I've been everywhere, from being the local Hitler to being the local supporter. But this somehow fitted into my life far better. It tells me that over the years, I haven't gone backwards, but I've gone forwards. And I'm always commencing a new journey in my life as I learn more and more. However, I would call myself a disruptor. And I'll tell you why. As you know, a few years ago, I went into my NPO, Earth Life Africa, with whom I've been for over 30 years. I was having problems. I was branch coordinator and branch was falling over. So I went into the offices and I said, I'm a dinosaur. We've got to look at a new way of running this. Everybody looked horrified. They'd never thought that we would have to pull ourselves out of the difficult position we were in because our bookkeeper wasn't bookkeeping. She wasn't getting us our audits. I said, right, we've got to sort this out. And the first thing we did was get a team together. We then got our major funder from Sweden to get involved with this, and they funded a week-long workshop, finding out what our strengths were, our weaknesses. We did a full SWOT evaluation. It was quite difficult for me because the place they chose, and with my feet problems, I had to find somebody to help me up the steps because there wasn't a stair. We got through it. We got there. And that organization has turned around. Not only that, but my program director, Okoma Lakalakala, has developed into the most powerful woman I know. She won a major environmental prize 2 years ago in the States. and it turned her life around from being relatively shy about speaking. She gave the keynote speech at Benchmarks today. Her presence has changed. If I disrupted her life, I did it for the best, based on what I see of Makoma today. I've also seen that I've disrupted Benchmarks themselves because I put out the information that they then got funded by Shirad, a major nuclear investigative agency in France. Bruno de Charion is one of my leading lights. I have learned so much from him. He gave Benchmarks a Geiger counter. He gave them water testing treatment, both of which they needed, because they are working out on the mining waste areas where I worked, Snake Park, Rivoli, out on the East Rand, in Randfontein. And they have established that the levels of radiation are way too high. The water is way too poisonous. People are dying there. And the Department of Health is ignoring it. So Benchmarks and I and EarthLife, and you've probably seen the Future After Coal movement, which includes EarthLife, Centre for Environmental Rights, and Greenpeace, and 350.org, are exposing the level of impacts in the coal areas, particularly in Limpopo and Mpumalanga. We are all disruptors. We have to be. Why? Because I want to see all of your children and my grandchildren grow up as Greta Thunberg does, into a world that acknowledges that these levels of pollution are not acceptable and have to be stopped. Mr. Toastmaster.
Our third speech was given by Judith Taylor, and to evaluate Judith's speech we have our President, Shamisa Gusha, who is right here. Two hands.
And good evening once again, and especially to Judith. Judith, we know you as she's now what is it? No. There's a word, what do we call the people? The label you're at? DTM. So obviously we expect good things from you. Your speech, as usual, you always know your speech. You know what you want to say. You don't use papers. That is something that we all admire. We don't see you fiddling with paper, or you don't seem to forget anything. So that is excellent as usual. You had 5 precise slides, and you didn't bore us with like a long list of slides, which was good. On those slides, however, would have wanted you to use bolder words. Your slides were not busy; they didn't have too many things. So if at least it was nice and bold for some of us with poor eyesight sitting at the back to be able to see clearly. And I like the way you acknowledged other people. You were the disruptor, and because of what you did, other people began to shine. You spoke of a lady who won a prize, I think, in the US, who did so well, and you didn't take the glory for yourself. It was like, look, she did well, she won the award, which is very good. And I love when you said you're a dinosaur. I mean, few people would acknowledge that, look, my ways might be not working well. So that's a good leadership style. You acknowledge yourself that maybe I need some help. And that's very good. You may want to work on your gestures. You use one hand and you keep going like this, and we end up noticing it. And your conclusion, much as you inspired, you need to call to action more. You understand? The conclusion wasn't like with a bang. And you talked about Greta Thunberg, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly. And you also say, as you know in my last statement, those are the two things where you refer back to maybe previous speeches or to people who not everyone in the audience may be aware of. So a brief explanation. Greta, she's doing this. In my previous speech, I spoke about this, and it brings everyone in the audience at the same level. And finally, you have a passion for pollution. You have a passion for the environment. And at one point, we felt that you were now digressing from your speech of leadership, and you are now into the pollution, into the environment. So it's keeping it to that leadership style. Yes, it is important to know that this leadership has led to this pollution project and everything, but your passion, at one time I was now thinking, okay, her speech is about pollution, the environment. So you digressed a bit, but otherwise we know your leadership, we are all disruptors, apparently. So that was the bit of bang that you brought through, but we enjoyed your speech and we're looking forward to your next speech. Thank you.